You know, it's almost like your birthday with a package from China, so let's go. So where this thing comes with a very hefty price tag, but don't click away because there's a good reason for it. This is not your cheap, let's say AliExpress product that you can throw away after, let's say, a couple of weeks. This is something different. This is something more quality, and also it comes with a lot of cool features. So first of all, the vintage look of this device is absolutely epic. But besides that, we can do some really cool things with it. Here you can already see that we have an HDMI input, some extra switches, and it also comes with a built-in Android box. Yup, and built-in Android box that gives us the option to even emulate old school games, and we can hook up a lot of new devices. So let's get into it and let's chit chat about all the features and what you can do with it, because man, this thing is awesome. One of the weird features the Senpou has that it has an HDMI input but not an output. You would think, hey, maybe this thing has an output so you can plug it into your television, use the Senpou like in Gamebox that we've seen before, but no, it has input. So what you can actually do is connect yourself a Sega Dreamcast with HDMI and play some Quake 3, or hook up your Sega Mega Drive Mini and play some Street Fighter 2. Yeah, it's kinda cool to be honest, but it's also weird at the same time. So that is one of the things I'm hoping in the future they will change it out with the version 2.0. But the most awesome, let's say, feature this thing comes with is that it is built in Android box, and in combination with Emulation, you have actually thousands of games you can just play with it. And that makes this thing absolutely like one of the coolest things that I've picked up from AliExpress. You can just also, like, besides playing games on it, you can just put it in display, and you can just leave this thing on, and you can just display every kind of game all the way up to PlayStation 1. Yeah, so think about it. You can have like Commodore 64, Atari, Amstrad, you name it. There are so many different systems that can actually be running on this just quite well. Another thing they should upgrade is the internal specifications, where this thing runs on the old school S905. The first generation of Super Console X boxes had the same specs. But personally, I have never heard of the brand Senpou before. This is actually the type TJ800. It comes with the S905W. That is one of those chips that we find in the Super Console X's, with the GPU that is on Mali 450 MP. 2GB of RAM, that is unique because one of the Super Console X back in the day had only 1GB, storage capacity of 60GB for the Android part, and that's actually it. But how does it actually translate when getting into the emulation? That is quite simple. A lot of games will not run perfectly or not great at all. And that is unfortunate when this comes to the S905W. I wish they went for the X3 or the X4 or maybe even more powerful chip, because you do pay a lot of money for this mini television. But we do have a lot of stuff that we can actually emulate, and N64 was actually playable. But take consideration also this struggles big time. There was only one person on AliExpress who was selling this, and I was more like, why is this the only guy selling this product? Because the idea behind it is pretty cool. So let's start with the controller. So I was quite disappointed seeing it comes with a Super NES controller, because the box itself comes with the S905W AM logic chip that is powerful enough to run a lot of stuff, especially when it comes to PlayStation 1. Okay guys, so this is what you're going to get inside the package. We're going to get a very cheap 9-volt power supply for not charging, but there's no battery inside the machine. This is just for powering it on. Of course, we're going to get a controller because it's an Android device. What I do like about it, the receiver is inside the machine, so you don't need to have a separate dongle for this. Okay, so when you're looking at the device, how is the quality in general? It's okay. And the reason why I say it's okay, so first of all, I just want to point out there is no CRT inside, it's just an LCD display. But the device itself is fully made of plastic, and there are no metal parts like the buttons in front of the television. So again, it's in full plastic fantastic. But it is not that plastic fantastic that it is super lightweighted. In total it weighs 332 grams. So it's not a lot, but it's more than even, let's say, than a Super Console X that was around 250 grams. Back of the system we're going to get 2 additional USB ports that we can use for a controller or an external storage. We're going to get the input for the CF card, the input for the power, and of course we have here the 2 switches. And the switch is quite interesting. So when you flip them both up, I think you can hear it, but there is a fan inside this machine. So let's talk about the LCD display that is inside this machine. It's a 3.5-inch LCD display, but an IPS. And you can see it even from an angle, it looks amazing. And that is a very positive thing with the Senpou mini television, that it even comes with a very nice LCD display. And every time when you're going to boot it up in the TV box mode, you're going to get the intro specially made for this device. Every time when you're turning it on, it's more like it doesn't get any signal. I think it's just more like a finishing touch to this machine that makes it even pretty cool. I just wanted to give you a quick look of the remote. The remote works very well. And that is something that I'm very pleased to see, because you're going to need it, of course, with the Android menu. If you take a close look at Emulation, you need to know how to make it. There are already some tutorials out there. I can make a separate tutorial for you guys, or if you can't wait, you can always check the one from my buddy Emulation. Nevertheless, take a consideration when you're going to create an image. Don't get the bigger one than 128GB SD card, because the Senpou doesn't support above that. Okay, in my case, I don't use the 32GB. I'm going to use the 64GB edition. So let's add it into the Senpou mini television. Let's boot it up. But the first time, and you just boot up in the normal Android menu, because we're going to need a special app for this. For basically more like give it a reboot and get them into the Emulation software. Okay, so when you're having Emulation installed and everything has been set up, I think this will bring this device to the next level. We're having so many systems now we can play on this mini television. It's just really crazy. So what we're going to do in this video, I will give you a quick overview of some games. Okay, so I want to quick point out that this game is really demanding. I'm still running on the old Emulation 3.9, but what is really convenient with the Senpou mini television, that we're going to get to 2GB RAM. So when we're going to do let's say a pre-install of the 4.0, we're going to get way better performance with Atomic Wave. By the way, if you want to remove the borders, it's just the same like Raspberry Pi, you can do so, but I just wanted to leave them. I think it looks cool. I play this game a lot of my Games Legends. I love this thing. I love this game. A little bit of basic beat 'em up, but oh, he just hit me right up in the face. Oh, we have super move. But that's the same for main games. Main games will run just fine. But take consideration, Duel of the Power, games like Killer Instinct will not run on this. Alright, so next up, let's try Dreamcast. Take consideration with a Mali chip, it doesn't give the best performance, especially when looking at some glitches at the background sometimes. But I think it's just really genius that you can play just Dreamcast on this mini television. And when you're looking at the FPS, it's not bad at all. And even for the mono speaker, the sound is not bad at all. I wasn't really happy with it when I did a main review, but now bullet hell. I love myself shoot 'em ups. And even the Sega Naomi seems to be running quite good. I did hear a minor hiccup. And again, we can always remove the borders if we don't want to, especially with this one. It says ColecoVision. Why? How can you mess something like this up? Okay. I just want to give you a quick Sega Genesis gameplay, just to show you how it sounds, of course. Okay, so PSP or PlayStation Portable will always be more like a mixed bag. Having a lot of problems. You can see already the glitching on the background. Okay, I don't know what exactly happened now, but that was some weird stuff. Okay, so this game, PlayStation 1 Bloody Roar 2, I think this thing will run just fine. Even with some lower boxes and boxes, I did see good performance. We're going to the Sonic and the Bahamas. But yeah, Sega CD is also one of the systems that will run with Emulation combined with this mini television. Let's go. Retro mode. No, we're not going to do it. We're going to the past. Exactly. Yep. With the Senpou mini television. So in the next part, I just wanted to play some games, and I'm going to use my Xbox 360 controller for it, because this thing is super compatible with a lot of these devices, including the Senpao. So maybe you're already noticing that I preloaded some different emulators on it. You can get them from the Play Store. Take consideration, some are free, some you need to pay for them. Model 5W is capable of running a lot of games, and I think that makes the Senpao mini television pretty awesome in my opinion. The conclusion is that we can play so many cool things on this Senpao mini television. Let me know in the comments what you think of this. Thank you all for watching, consider subscribing, hit the little bell, and it would be great to see you in the next video.